Game made with Unity. That's how you know it's gonna be good. Or not. I don't know if that's actually a indication. This is Up All Night Daybreak. I don't really know what it's about, but it is a visual novel. I fuck with visual novels. There's a lot of people who make some good visual novels out there that don't get a lot of recognition. All right, let's get in the moment. The dream was back. The old one, where Bree's teasing laugh had turned into a final scream, where Tyler slowly suffered before the end, where I had broken more than just my leg. The dream full of their haunted whispers. You did this. You killed us. Just like you killed them. Nick, you got a little, paint on you. I know. The incoherent flash of the wreck resolved into a horrible structure. The nightmare always did this, pulled me through every feeling before giving it form. I found myself in the clearing, where Tyler and Bree had died, where I lay for hours wishing I could join them. Except, instead of a warm summer night, it was cold, too cold. Snow fell, dusting my shoulders, my breath frogged the frigid air. The moon hung full and low in the sky, illuminating everything in a cold, silver light. The two nights were bleeding together. Ha! Shit. Don't you tire of this? Out of a blur of fog and swirling snow, Felix materialized, looking as rigid and judgmental as ever. What are you doing here? He waved a dismissive hand at the corpse scattered across the frosted, muddy earth. The same thing they are. You wanted me here. He was wearing his human face, but half of it was reduced to a twisted mass of splintered bone and blackened blood. He sighed, surveying Tyler's mangled body, that lost, long groan rattling from broken man's lips on a loop. That's the night of this. The third night of this in a row, Nick. You're going to pull me into your cursed nightmares, at least have the decency to offer variety. The part of his lip that was still intact curled in annoyance, his single eye narrowing. Dark ichor dripped down the mangled half of his face, streaking his perfectly pressed dress shirt. Sorry to disappoint. I clung to his criticism like a life raft. It made the dream feel less solid. Not that I ever let him know it. As much as it pains me to admit, I think I liked those foolish friendship fantasies better. At least I had my full face in those. You liked those? You ruined the last one. Not another word about your damned beach party dream, Nick. Not one. I thought those swim trunks looked good on you. Oh, Nick. Because you have no taste. I thought of the warm beach, everyone laughing and drinking slushies, until Felix had snapped. It was a pretty good one until you decided to kill everyone. He pointedly ignored my comments. You know, Nick, you actually have to face your problems if you want to move on. I rolled my eyes, anger boiling inside me, covering up the pit of apathy and threatening to consume my heart. Isn't that what I'm doing? I knew Tyler and Bree were behind me, but I didn't want to look. Couldn't look. Felix seemed to notice. Unless I'm your biggest problem, no, you aren't. You can't rewrite the past, but I'd appreciate if you deal with your little hang-ups on your own. Stop pulling me into your nightmares. It's easy for you to say here. The howl of a wolf in the distance made us both jump. Grayson. No, absolutely not. I have no interest in fully reliving my death again. You put an end to this now. Wake up! The sound of heavy paws on damp earth patted closer. An animal scent filled the air, mingled with the copper tang of blood that surrounded us. Maybe tonight she'll kill me. I deserve it. Felix's eyes were wide on the edge of panic. You selfish little child, I refuse to suffer on repeat just because you have a death wish. The nervous energy coming off him in waves made me nauseous. I wanted her to come. Wanted her to dig out every rotten piece of myself with claws and violence. I wanted it for Felix, too. You're the one who killed her parents. We both deserve her, whatever she does to us. It isn't even her. She's not like me. She's not really here. We still deserve it. Maybe even more since the real her doesn't know. Oh. He lunged at me, his nails elongating, skin taking on a blue pallor of a bloodless corpse. With a vicious flick of a wrist, he drew those wicked talons across my neck. For a moment, we simply stared at each other. The warm torrent of blood began to pour from the deep wound he'd made. I gagged, and I toppled backwards, feet entangled with Tyler's twitching body. A dark shadow lumbered out from the tree line. The snow was falling faster now, and the steam emanated the wide gash on my neck. Wake up! I stared at him defiantly, clinging to the earth rail life I had in this dream, then she'd be able to come get him to help balance out the small piece of what he'd done to her. The shadow resolved into a giant werewolf, its lips pulled back into a wicked snarl. Saliva dripped down the thick, vicious ropes from its jaw. My vision darkened, but I heard the werewolf strike out at Felix. He screamed, and I could hear the tearing of flesh as a dream dissipated around me. I had one last gurgling, bloody laugh. Oh, shit. Nick. Please. Remember your promise. It weren't your fault. Oh, shit. My eyes shot open. I gasped, head pounding. No. My clothes were damp. Or was I? I lifted trembling fingers to my throat. For a minute, I really had felt like it ripped my throat open. I was coated in a cold sweat and it made me shiver. I needed repair to heather. The camper I was living in was a real fixer-upper and hadn't exactly finished the whole fixing-up part. I turned my phone screen on to check the time and groaned. 5 in the morning. Too early to get up, but too late to actually fall asleep again, especially after a dream like that. I lay there, eyes fixed on the weathered panels that made up the ceiling. I'd missed a call last night from Katie. I checked the message. Happy birthday, you big idiot. I bet you forgot it's tomorrow, huh? I'm not letting you ghost me the way you did on Christmas. Anyway, I'm coming over in the morning, so be sure to get some sleep. I groaned. Perfect. I really didn't want to think about shit like this on my birthday or Christmas. In fact, if every day could be boring, normal one, that would be great. The normal days never reminded me of how alone I really was. If I'd remembered it was my birthday, who knows what else I would have seeped in my way into the nightmares. There was a half-used cigarette I snuffed out last night sitting in the ashtray. Yeah, why the fuck not? I pulled it from the mound of ashes and discarded butts and refill it, not bothering to sit up. The thick smoke burned my throat, making me cough. The tobacco tasted stale and slightly damp. Half of me was still in there. In the clearing, the snow, I always hated the dreams that stuck with me like that, which was pretty much all of them. Top of all that crap, I thought I heard Grayson at the end. A wave of nausea washed over me. I winced and tried to shove the echoes of the dream deep into a recessed corner of my mind. Come on, man. Get the fuck together. I sat up. Maybe that would chase away those last traces of the dream. There was no way in hell I was going back to sleep. What if Felix was still there? He kept telling me it was real, but he couldn't be. It was just more bullshit in the back of my brain. My mouth felt dry, and there was an open beer can on the table, and I grabbed it. I downed the rest of the warm, flat liquid that I'd left sitting out the night before. That is disgusting. I shuddered, part of me enjoying how terrible it tasted. Not like I deserved any better, but at least my tongue no longer felt like cotton. Nicholas Torres, what on earth is wrong with you? I took the last drops of the beer, sputtering in shock. I'm still dreaming? Fortunately for me, no. There was a dark anger in his eyes, rolling and cold all at once. His gaze was still like a flame that froze when it touched instead of burning it. Was it just in my head, or had the temperature dropped a few more degrees? You waited for her to slaughter me, and you don't even have the decency to look happy about it? I stared at him flatly. Get out. No, I don't think I'm going to. We need to have a talk. About what? You've been thinking of me, so strongly in fact, that you've been summoning the last vestige of my essence back into the physical world. He narrowed his cold blue eyes, every rigid muscle in his body radiating tension. Why? What are you up to? I flipped my laptop open and typed in the password. The window I'd been staring at last night popped up. Felix made an involuntary noise of surprise. What? He peered over my shoulder and I tensed at his closeness. Is that an obituary? I kept my face blank, the full-screen picture of an aged newspaper clipping pulled up on the laptop. Yeah, it is. I'd been staring at it last night before I fell asleep. It was for Felix's father, a man named Henry Baker. I found it during one of my deep dives into the local university's library records. I scanned it myself. Paper records are real bitch, you know? Felix shook his head slowly, disbelief etched on his stony face. Felix Baker, huh? Not Felix Severix Duval? Sounds so common. No wonder you changed it. A flicker of something akin to pain quickly flashed across his face before dissipating. In its place lingered a blank mask of disinterest. I didn't... well, I suppose I did. Contracts come with additional clauses, after all. I just assumed you hated your dad. I do. He ruined that name, ruined it, and borrowed money so dirty it sent the debt collectors after us. That man deserved everything he got. An email notification popped up, and I automatically clicked it open. What is that? Oh, I, I got in. My heart sped up as I read the email. A college acceptance letter. I'd gone into Aspen Valley University. The email felt more personal than it should have. I almost felt happy, which was pretty fucking ridiculous, all things considered. I wasn't exactly going there with plans to get a degree, not that the university knew that. Felix raised a thin brow, his interest piqued. Aspen Valley? Why would you decide to go there? Because I can learn things there I wouldn't be able to anywhere else. I found that a bit in their public archives and something else. Pulled it from a local newspaper. Pulled up a second scan newspaper clipping. This one was about the grisly suicide of a failed destitute businessman named Henry Baker. Where the obituary had glossed over the events surrounding his death, this article went into a gruesome detail. Felix had gone rigid again. Your dad's death wasn't really a suicide, was it? How very astute of you. You did it? I did. I won't say I'm proud of it. He did slit his own throat. Took a moment for the implication to sink in. He'd already been turned. You charmed him. I prefer enthrall. But you didn't change your surname, not willingly. That pained look was back on him. It looked like he had tasted something rotten. It was mine. I wanted to be the one that pulled the Baker name back out of the gutter, but no! I couldn't even manage that. As per the usual, I never get what I want. He locked eyes with me. My stomach dropped. He stood up and walked over to the fridge. A 12-pack of beer was sitting alone on the bottom shelf, half of it gone. I hadn't bothered to pull the remaining ones out of the box. Before sunrise? Really? You have picked up some nasty habits. I didn't need him judging me. Not when he was the most of the reason I wanted to crack open a cold one is this ungodly hour. Look, I don't need a lecture. You bring any vodka from that pit you crawled out of, some tomato juice, celery. He was looking increasingly annoyed. What for? I shrugged. Bloody Mary sounded good for breakfast. His eyes flickered red. I smiled. Good. I'd piss him off. Nicholas Torres, you are the reason I am here. Why are you digging into my history? There's nothing to be gained there. What on earth are you thinking? Thinking that we were I'm thinking that where there's one blood-sucking paradise, there are others. That's what I'm thinking. For a moment he looked like a scared kid, the teenager he'd been when he'd been turned shining through. What else have you found? I laughed, and I could taste the stale beer coming back up as bile in the back of my throat. Take a guess, Felix. He looked away, and I noted he was clenching his jaw. These questions are bloody and pointless. All you are is a fool on a suicide mission. Leave the dead be. Go rot somewhere in peace, and maybe I'll think about it. His fingers elongated, and his skin took on the bloodless rot pallor of a decaying corpse, just as it had in the dream. Thoughtless! You are so... He broke off into a frustrated snarl, and I grabbed the front of my shirt, pulling me down on top of him. Sharp nails pierced through the front of my shirt where he grabbed me. His face was right next to mine. I could feel his breath as cold as ice storm. You can touch me? Felix looked as shocked as I did. He lifted up a claw finger and drew it down on my cheek, almost gently. It hurt. A droplet of blood welled up, and I slid down the side of my face. No, this isn't right. My throat constricted in alarm. He'd killed who knows how many of those people with those hands. Bitten them with those fangs of his. I'd watched him die. He shouldn't be able to interact with a living now. It was wrong. Felix's shock gave way to something darker, and a smile bled across his face. The drop of blood fell from my cheek and landed on his, right below his eye. It dripped down the side of his face like the twisted mockery of a tear. It should have fallen straight through him, but didn't. Let go! There, you see? That's the fear you should be feeling. His red eyes glinted in wicked satisfaction. You've gotten too used to ignoring me, Nick. Now I get to call the shots. I tried to pull back, but he'd wrapped his other arm around the back of my neck and was pulling me down closer to him, closer to that wicked fanged grin. Forgotten how strong he was. I didn't have my kid on me. Hell, I wasn't even sure it would work. He was supposed to be dead already. You can't even deal with my echo, and you want to go waltzing into a vampire den? Put those foolish dreams to rest. I shuddered, put my hands around his neck, squeezing, trying to choke him so he'd let me go. He felt like an ice sculpture, hard but brittle. I wondered if I could shatter him into a million bloody pieces. Fuck you, Felix. I spit the words at him through gritted teeth. He laughed, high and sharp, his expression twisted into something inscrutable, similar to how he looked when I asked him about his surname. Oh, you wouldn't want that. His touch made my skin crawl. The world was narrowing into this pinpoint moment where it was just the two of us. I could feel the muscles in my arms getting fatigued. They quivered with exhaustion as I tried to choke him and hold myself away from him at the same time. Ever the hypocrite, the moment you think you're actually dead and you don't want to commit. Pathetic. You're one to... There was a knock at the door of the trailer, and both froze and looked toward the sound. I could see the shadowed silhouette of someone through the curtain. Nick, you awake in there? Ah, screw it, I'm coming in. Don't be mad, I got you a present. I can't do a female voice. I felt my arm sink downward through Felix's grip on my shirt, and Nick dissipated. He was incorporeal again. I could still see him under me, but something about Katie being there had made him less real. Wait. Yeah, sure, like that's ever worked. Felix and I glanced at each other. Pushed myself up into a sitting position. Katie flung the door open and froze. She looked me over, nose wrinkling with the stale scent of the trailer washed over her. My clothes, which had already been disheveled, were an absolute mess. Were you at a wrestling match with yourself or something? She was holding a thermos of coffee in one hand and a tote bag slung around her arm. You look like shit. Yeah, thanks. That's just what I needed to hear. I leaned back, knowing full well there was no way to play this off like I was doing just fine, but hell, I guess it didn't hurt to try. Felix tried to slide back into his previous nonchalant position, but it wasn't exactly convincing. His nails were pressed into the back of the couch. Would he be able to tear it open in this reality now that we couldn't touch again? I didn't want to find out. I've never seen this woman before. Who is she? You don't dream of her. Though that's hardly surprising. You only seem to dream of the dead. I went back to ignore Felix. Maybe that was the trick. The less I let him get under my skin, the less he could touch this world. Isn't that what he'd said in the dream? That I wanted him there? Well, what I wanted now was for him to disappear, right? So why the hell couldn't I make that real? I glanced down at my laptop and winced. Okay, maybe I was thinking about him more than I preferred to admit. Your face? What? Kitty shot me an exasperated look, mouth flat with annoyance. Never mind. I was going to ask if you cut yourself shaving, but with that beard scruff, you obviously didn't. I reached up and touched my cheek. It came away slightly bloody, so it hadn't been in my head. I didn't know if that made me feel better or worse. Oh, she rolled her eyes and sighed. Don't bother. We'll just say you lied about whatever the hell happened, and I pretended to believe it. Deal? I couldn't help but chuckle. Yeah, deal. Felix glared in her direction, eyes roaming over the coffee and tote bag she was carrying before landing on the puckered scar that curled around her neck. I don't care for her. She has no manners. You have no manners. Excuse me? You're one to talk. Sorry, just half awake. It's pretty damn early to come barging in. Well, I brought coffee and a present, so I think I'm forgiven. I sighed. Why would you do that? I haven't celebrated my birthday in, I let my voice trail off into a mumble. Last time I'd celebrated was when Tyler and Bree were still alive. They threw me a surprise party. Yeah, well, I tried to last year, and the year before. It isn't my fault you keep ghosting me. You didn't even call me back after Christmas. I'm cheating on your gift a little since I meant to give it to you then. You also missed my birthday, but I get it. You got your own shit going on. She surveyed the rundown trailer, gaze flickering over the peeling paint and scraped over the wooden paneling. Fuck. I meant to call you back. Yeah, sure. I groaned and buried my head in my hands, pressing my palms against my closed eyes. Just try to have a good time. We're hanging out. That's supposed to be fun. I don't have anything to give you, and I feel like shit about... I told you. Just give me a good time. She cracked a grin and winked. Felix let out an exasperated huff of air. Sure you don't want, I tried to think of something I could pass off as a present that failed miserably. Felix just shifted back to a human. I could feel his gaze crawling across my back. You're a terrible host, Felix sniffed, staring at me with a weird mixture of disapproval and glee. Talk about toxic. Whatever. The only thing he'd ever given me was a shitty gift basket and a lifetime of trauma. I didn't give a damn what he thought. I really don't need anything. Seriously. Here. She pulled out a gift bag and set it in front of me. It's not a bunch of shitty candy, is it? Why the hell would I buy you candy? I don't think I've seen you eat a single sweet thing the entire time I've known you. I chuckled. Sorry. No wonder this guy gave me a gift basket full of crap like that. Some fucking peach rings and old toffee. Guess I was just thinking about it. She raised her eyebrows. For your birthday? No, you just gave it to me. It wasn't that special of a day or anything. You have a crush on you or something? I didn't know you had it in you, Romeo. What? That's supposed to mean? What's that supposed to mean? I was just under the impression that you're as romantic as a wet cat. That's totally my unbiased ex-girlfriend opinion, by the way. Hey, you've liked me for a little while. You dated her? He leaned back on the couch, arms crossed over his chest, looking like he wanted to set the trailer on fire. I still like you, you idiot. Remember what I told you? Yeah. I opened Katie's present, and then we could talk about that instead of my failed love life. It was a belt. The dark brown leather of the strap was smooth and subtle between my fingers. The steel buckle glinted in the dim light of the trailer. It couldn't have been cheap. It was the sort of thing I didn't deserve to own. Oh, it's, nice. Well, geez, don't sound so excited about it. I just thought you probably needed a new one. Cheery determination in her voice was fading. Shit, Katie, I'm sorry, it's really nice, it's just, I don't know if it suits me. A small sound of frustration escaped her throat. Then what suits you, Nick? Ratty second-hand clothes? The same jacket for the past 5 years? No belt? She gestured vaguely in my direction, her expression getting flatter the longer she spoke. She's right, you know. You have terrible taste in clothing. And in women. He stood up. You wanna go outside? Outside? To watch the sunrise? Yeah, something like that. It's feeling kinda stuffy in here. She shrugged. Sure, I wanted to talk to you about something anyway. She held up the thermos of a hot coffee and sloshed it around. You got any mugs? Sat in the chill air, Katie standing next to me, the deep blue of pre-dawn twilight stretching across the sky. Fading stars blinked above us. I hadn't talked to anyone since I arrived, so I could only guess the hikers and vacationing families who had made temporary homes at the other campsites nearby. I imagined them getting up for their early morning adventures together. Once I had accepted that college admission, I wouldn't be able to hide up here anymore. Not when I was looking for that coven and pretending to be earning a degree. My stomach roiled and clenched, and I thought about the next part of my plan. I've got some new intel. It's about my mom. The clammy, jittery feeling intensified. I tried to hide it, tried to stop her from seeing. What kind of intel? I've heard rumors that whoever took her didn't track her down through you. I thought you'd want to know. Oh, that. My palpable relief gave me away. She turned to stare at me, a hollow look in her eyes. The look she always tried to hide, the look I first saw on her face the night her mother vanished. You already knew. Not a question. Frown covered up that moment of raw sadness. Good. Anger was always better than that. That pit. I shrugged helplessly. Then why didn't you tell me? It wouldn't have changed anything. Could have stopped it. It's my fault. In all ways that matter. She looked out at the snowy campground and I sighed, her breath steamed in the cold air. This is exactly why we didn't work. You're always so damn determined to make everything your fault. It's easy to do when it is. Pulled out a half-full flask of whiskey from my jacket pocket and poured some into the cup of black coffee. The scent of alcohol bloomed up from the hot liquid. You don't do that every morning, do you? I shrugged. I could feel Felix staring at me from inside the camper. I glanced over at him, and he turned away, feigning disinterest. Today is, well, it hasn't been great. You can't keep doing this to yourself. It's no way to live. I'm fine. I'll be fine. Just don't take it too far, okay? When have I ever taken anything too far? Her eyebrows shot up, so high that they nearly disappeared into her bangs. Her eyes widened, and her lips curled in a disbelieving smile. I couldn't help but grin back. Okay, point taken. Dawn was beginning to bloom across the sky, the warmth from the coffee cup, and the steam from our collective breath surrounded us in a moment of calm reflection. Made me want to break it. There's also something I wanted to talk to you about. Oh? I winced, right? I'd be avoiding her calls. I stared down at the snow so I didn't have to see her disappointment. Look, I meant to get back to you. Really, I did. Months, Nick. It's been months. I did my last raid alone because you wouldn't answer the damn phone. My throat constricted in alarm. You what? What happened? Are you okay? I'm here, aren't I? The glint in her eyes was wicked and self-assured. But the fucking werewolf I tracked down isn't. My eyes were locked on her throat, on the thick scar that snaked across it. My fault, just like her mom's disappearance. I was the one who pulled her into this world of monsters, and now she was digging herself in deeper. Ooh. Wait, what the fuck just happened? Okay, we'll continue. Is she? The metallic scent of blood and stale animal breath filled my nose. The beast slumped forward, transforming into a woman as the body collapsed on top of me. I was was shaken from the adrenaline. Wild energy coursed through me. I could do this. I really could hunt down these monsters. The woman's eyes were dead and empty. She looked completely human now. The lupine features consumed with bloodlust had melted away with the last bit of her life force. A chill ran through me as I looked up at her upturned lips. A small bit of relief on her face filled me with an envy that I couldn't explain. It was the same way Grayson had looked. I shuddered. I rolled her lifeless body off of me, trying the best to position her with dignity. I started to take my jacket off so I could cover her with it, but without the pressure of the thick fabric, I felt too exposed and put it back on. Such a damn coward. Yeah, she's dead. The gun rattled in my hand. Over. It was over. I'd gotten the werewolf that had turned Grayson. She couldn't curse anybody else. I should be happy. I avenged her. You okay? I hunched forward and vomited on the cool ground. A fifth life added to my tally. A new piece of nightmare ready and waiting to be added to the lineup. Right behind Bree, Tyler, Grayson, and even fucking Felix. Yeah. I choked out a laugh. I was jealous of a dead woman I'd killed because that was all I could ever do. I couldn't save anyone. All I could do was rob other monsters of their shadow of a life. The sound of insects in the night went silent. Nick, look out! Katie's cry morphed into a choked off gurgle. Frigid fingers clamped down on my shoulder, sharp nails digging into my jacket. Oh, what? Katie? The mistress has been quite eager to meet you face to face, Nicholas Torres. You killed one of her favorite toys. The werewolf? The creature's laugh was high and cold. It breathless stank of frozen decay like rotten meat preserved by the first frost of winter. Why would she care about some mutt? No. You've cut off part of her family tree. Felix was like a grandson to her. Felix? I could see Katie on the ground behind me, a dark pool forming around her head. Was she dead? A numb tingling spread through my body. That old, empty nothingness coming back to claim me. I closed my eyes. I'd done it again. I'd gotten someone else killed and I couldn't even feel it. Maybe I could tell them I was sorry for the next world. All of them. A guttural scent ripped through the dark fog that writhed around me like angry worms devouring a corpse. My eyes shot back open. There was Katie, her ragged breathing misted unevenly in the icy air, her teeth clenched in pain and determination. A weird wooden spike was clutched in her left hand. The kit. I'd given her my kit. She threw herself on the creature from behind. I could see dark blood welling up from the gash on her neck, the skin hanging open in a curved flap. The vampire let go of me and clutched at his chest, tearing at the dress shirt. His wearing thick black ichor loomed out of his place. His now mutilated heart had been. No, I don't. His body ignited in a burst of acrid flame, going up like dry tinder. An inhuman wail sliced through the darkness. Katie stood above me, her breath coming out in ragged bursts, her triumphant expression growing hazy. She brought her fingers up to her mangled neck and collapsed. Hello, Nick? Nick, what was it you wanted to tell me? Shook my head, trying to clear it out of those memories. Not like that it was my strong suit. Was that the second worst night of my life, or the third? Probably didn't matter. Glanced back and saw Felix peering out the window again, expression stony. A laugh that was closer to a sob ripped out of me. Kitty just sighed. Look, you can't keep doing this crap alone. Sorry, I was thinking of old things. I waved half-heartedly at her neck. I pick my own battles, Nick. You can't go around feeling bad about my choices. I knew the risks that night. I chose to take them. She rested her hand firmly on my shoulder. Get over yourself. The words were harsh, but her expression wasn't. Let me back in. Oh. I wasn't trying to talk about that. I just wanted to tell you that I'm going to college in the fall, finally. Words came out in a rush. She let out a startled laugh and slapped my back. What? Shit! Glad you're finally going. Yeah, maybe it's the reset that I need. The light tasted bitter on my lips. I took another sip of coffee. I'm sure it will be. I'm proud of you. I gotta say, I didn't think you'd actually do it. Oh, what's that supposed to mean? She shrugged. Just that it's weird to see something good for yourself. I gazed at the snow-covered landscape. I hated lying to her. She'd find out eventually. She always did, but for this one moment, I could pretend my future was real and I'm boundless. But I still couldn't meet her eyes. I pressed my fingers deeper into the ceramic heat of the coffee mug. You'll do awesome. I know you. And if there's one thing you're great at, it's picking things apart. I heard a lot to hear because it was true. It was a life I should have had, asking questions and finding answers without every single syllable dripping with violence. I thought back to the boy I used to be, who I had promised to be better. My fingers tingled with the remember cold of that night, even as the heat from the coffee cup warmed my hands. I wondered if I would see him in my dreams one day. That child who thought he knew everything about pain. What would that teenager I used to be say if he could see me now? From the other side of this cracked mirror. Time's a real bitch. Don't I know it? Where are you going? Aspen Valley University. AVU? Shit, really? Congrats. That's where Grace and I wanted to go. Oh, I hadn't known that. That yawning void of emptiness bubbled up inside of me. It was just one more thing, one more bit of future I'd be living like a thief. Wait, did you graduate from there? From AVU? No, I ended up going up to college out of state. Too much baggage after everything. But I told you all that, remember? On our first date? The look of happiness on her face dissolved into a sour suspicion. I'm glad you got in, but do yourself a favor. Don't go there to chase ghosts. I looked back through my trailer window. Felix was still looking out at me, but fading. He opened his mouth and then closed it again. His form silently dissipated into the rising morning light with one last shake of his head. She'd be proud, you know. Rachel never envied anyone in her life. I always regretted not going there. Huh. I tried to will Grace in there. Felix had pulled himself from my nightmares. Maybe I could call her back with that small piece of me that still hoped. I need to go to Aspen Valley to uncover secrets, but would it be so wrong to do something for myself at the same time? If I couldn't manage that, do something in her memory. Try to paint her in this scene with me and Katie. We'd all be drinking coca instead of coffee. Grayson put too many marshmallows in hers, and Katie was teasing her. Yeah, that sounded like Grayson. Tonight, I tried to dream of that. You're smiling. Yeah, I guess I am. To be continued. Oh my gosh! Maybe there's a part 2 to this. I didn't know that this. It looks like we were fighting ghosts at one point. Are there like end credits? Oh, that's it. Oh, and here's the credits. Oh, that's not a lot of credits. Well, there you go. We were like a vampire hunter that got some of our friends slash coworkers killed, or we believe that we got some of our friends or coworkers killed, or maybe they just died in the line of duty. I don't really know. But they died, and we have a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder, and it's affecting us. But our ex-girlfriend slash coworker might be getting back together with us, and we are heading in the right direction, in theory. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, I'm glad. Have a fantastic night.